Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boys PD and Cal. PD and Cal, what's up, guys?
What's
Hey,
up?
ready to rock.
So Cal, PD, what you want to tell us about this rumor that's going around?
This rumor that Ben Affleck is back.
As Batman?
Well, it says HBO coming soon to HBO Max. It can't be real, but
No.
Oh man,
look at
that would be
that.
so
Look
great. Ben
at that.
Affleck has been a great, and we've been waiting for Deathstroke to come back and play his role, bro. Off the chain if we ever got the Batman. What's the name of the guy he's married to? Sofia Vergara, I think her name is.
Yeah, Bagara.
You know, her husband. He looked like a serious um Deathstroke. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, if they're bringing back my thing, if they're bringing back our boy, why not bring him back? If
Well,
they're bringing back, I mean, his name is Joe Manganiello, right?
yep.
If they're bringing, he is like he basically, I guess they must have paid him for the role because he's been there for years in the background. He can do it, bro. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, I mean, he was up for at one point up for Superman. He looked with his mustache. He looked like Tony Stark, the one from the comics. And then
He definitely had the build.
nowadays gray, he looks like definitely can do Deathstroke. So I always thought this was a no-brainer, but I saw it, I got excited, but then I'm like, nah, this is some bull. But they probably obviously put the HBO Max and say, oh, this is gonna be a TV show, which would work, but they're not gonna do that. But was cool to think about. One of the missed things that well, I don't know. I think what's the name was he, I guess what's the name was drinking too much, so we can't bring Batman back to get him to start drinking again. So
Well, look,
you
I'm
gotta let
saying
it go.
I heard the rumor, and the Batman will be great. If they can get Ben Affleck, I think that's a 50-50 thing. He still has to work through some stuff. But I think Joe Manganiello coming up as Deathstroke, I think that's a possibility. And now the fact that you have James Gunn saying that you know he wants to make a show with Waller as the Bane person, definitely he can definitely do a checkmate, or Deathstroke Incorporated, working with Waller or something, or against Waller. I
I
don't know.
don't know. This sounds like a lot of spitballing, man.
Yo, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, why not? He would be off the chain.
That's corporate talk. Get him in the room. Hey, what are we gonna do? Let's do this movie. We
Yo,
can't do
look,
that. That doesn't
get
make
rid
any
of.
sense. Well, what?
Get,
Well, why can't we do it? Why can't we?
look, the problem with a lot of these shows, and I'm going to say the same thing that probably happened to is all these woke shows need to just chill out. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's just get back to the story. Let's get back to strong characters. You know, and drop all this woke business that we have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
all for dropping the woke stuff, as you like to call it, but at the same point, spitballing is spitballing, be it woke or not, and just throwing everything up over this point. They do that all the time, and it doesn't work out because they don't have a concentrated plan. There's no plan. What's coming first? What's coming next? No, it's let's throw this up, see how much money it makes, and then if it makes money, okay, we can actually go forward. That's not a plan. Okay,
Dude,
wait
I
and
think
see is
that's
not a plan.
putting up a trial balloon to see what's going to happen. You'll find out what type of interest, and if there's a lot of interest, then you can go forward. If there isn't any
No,
interest,
that's
then
still not a plan. That's
you
whichever way
just
the wind
mothball it.
blows.
You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't think that's a problem. I think there's a
That's
good way
spit.
to go.
That's spitballing. Or as these guys want to say, let's bring it up the flagpole, see if it flies. But the whole idea is that because they're not willing to commit to a plan, it means that they don't believe in the project.
Well, there's no real. I mean, coming out. I mean, the hard part is looking at what Marvel did, and I think we talked about it separately. There's a lot of lucky parts that happen to Marvel for it to work, whereas you can see Phase Four hasn't been as strong. Or I think that there's it was a Science Sensei. They did an article which is really talking about Phase Four and kind of the missteps of it, and somehow they even pointed out something that we should have caught it is like all the male characters are turning into females. Thor turning into a female Thor. Obviously Black Panther because of what happened. So as you go along, you start to see this stuff start to happen, this legacy sort of thing. But ultimately with the luck that they had, whereas the same, like different directors, but they had a loose framework of government creating superheroes, which comes from, well, people like to go to the Ultimates because they like the Ultimates, but it comes from Heroes Reborn. And that wasn't really the best idea, but it was a Nick Fury is connected to the FF and the Avengers in their creation, right? And then you have what happened in Ultimates, where you have the, they went to try to sell to Hollywood, putting Sam Jackson, casting Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, and immediately when Hollywood saw it and said, "Hey, we're selling the Avengers," we got our first guy, Sam Jackson. So you had some pieces that kind of worked, and I always go to Josh Whedon, who kind of made at least the dynamics work, even though if there's some issues with the story and issues with some of the scenes in the first Avengers movie. I think the whole, overcame, some of the parts. So there's some luck that happened with Spider-Man working and X-Men working, which now doesn't work for anybody. They all kind of hate it because it's Fox, but it's 10 movie run, of X-Men and X-Men related stories. Spider-Man has three different takes on it, three different characters. So you had this thing that was moving, and DC was kind of they did their seminal thing, which was the Dark Knight and Batman Begins and Batman Dark Knight Rises, and they were trying to close the chapter so they could do some other things. And then Marvel said, "Hey, we're doing superheroes," and they were very successful. And they've been trying to keep up with that since then, and that's why you get Zack Snyder and all that stuff. But ultimately, they're at a point where they're a company that's kind of, they keep running and getting rid of different people. So I had to say that if you get a success in Aquaman, you get a success in your Joker, even though I'm not with the Joker, and I didn't like that pretty much 50% of the Aquaman movie was pretty much too cheesy, but there was a core that was kind of there that I was okay with, but like it was a success. So they're trying to say, what is success? But then that same thing, they pushed back this Aquaman thing. The thing should be out. That was a big success for them. Put another one out. They're trying to do other things. So
$1 billion film. Where's the sequel? They got more people championing. There's more vocal people saying, "Hey, we want Man of Steel too." This is $1 billion film. Where's the sequel?
You got the guy. You can say that. Well, we're gonna. I don't know. Everything's kind of pushed back with the pandemic, but at the same time, like somehow gotten this extra 700 million to their billion, and it's just like, where did this money come from? For what? We're putting all these Spider-Mans in there. Multiverse that you got from Sony. You got the multiverse thing from Sony, and now you're doing multiverse everything.
And the time between Aquaman, and the time between Warner Brothers releasing Aquaman, and now Jason Momoa did 3 seasons on Apple TV and
see.
That's with the pandemic, so it's not like it's like, hey, there's no real put. A lot of times, I feel Warner Brothers doesn't believe any of this stuff is going to fly. And they put it out there and they make money and then they wipe the sweat from their brow and like, dodge the bullet again. Okay, the only character that I ever see them have any drive to make films for is Batman. That's it. Everybody else,
the guarantee
like,
winner, bro.
Let's see how it goes. And it doesn't matter how much money the movies make or you show. Look, there's an appetite for this. People want to see it. Like, we don't know. Well, look, we just made $1 billion. Okay, that was cool. Oh, what about this one? Didn't make $1 billion, but tripled its budget. Oh, okay. And it's like, they look at everything. They're like comic book dealers. No matter how many good sales, these guys just believe this is trash. We got to get rid of it before people realize it's trash. Except Batman.
Well, let's go with you said, Mars. You sent something about this checkmate thing, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I think, the brainchild of Paul Kupperberg. He had the thing, but they're not using the checkmate guy. Amanda Waller was a big deal in there. That's where I'm outside of Legends. She was in Checkmate, but there was also Blackthorn. I would love to see them kind of redo Blackthorn so she doesn't look as wacky as she did as a 80s sort of pop vigilante. But I mean, yeah, I think this would be okay, but I don't see I don't see Checkmate yet. I'd like to see how they put Checkmate together, because that always was a cool costume. So I think it could be fun because they keep using Homegirl in there. So it's not my first choice for Amanda Waller, but people too scared. Oh, you can't do it. It's offensive. Like, no. There's some actresses that are heavy set that you could put in that role. But to embark at, and that's the thing, she's the Nick Fury of this the DC universe.
Like who? Monique?
No, I mean, I would go to Retta first. I would go Retta first, but then there's other people I could find to do it. So, because you want that. That's the thing of having someone that can back, like the cover where she's backing down. It's not really backing down, but yelling at Batman. That was kind of the fun of the character, because it was not DC. It was not Marvel. It wasn't Nick Fury. It was kind of them doing something different, where you had someone that just was like, at odds, almost like more like a J. Jonah Jameson than the Nick Fury, who was kind of like on the side. He would go to the Fantastic Four for help, or he would show up in the Avengers for stuff like that, where he was kind of in the mix, where Amanda Waller was kind of like, I'm not with any of this hero stuff. Like, and I'm not going to be. I don't care about, what's that, Gordon Godfrey? I don't care what he's saying. I'm just not for this stuff. And like, was it Blackthorn, who's the vigilante? She's always after her. So that, I don't know if they're going to get into any of that, because they got all the other stuff. I mean, they got the person who's her niece or whatever it is, who could be, well, that'd be almost a too pretty version of Amanda Waller. So I would kind of try to keep what was in the comic book. But yeah, it's but they got her, and they should be doing more with her, and do something where they can utilize her stardom for something. Because Checkmate is out there. Checkmate has some decent characters. I don't think I think the characters that were connected to those characters were connected to who's that guy? The Vigilante. So Blackthorn is connected to Vigilante. Oh man, what are they doing? They're getting the leads finally. All right, so yeah, but yeah, it looks like something it's like the almost like DC's agents of Marvel's Agents of Shield. All right, I'm gonna pass it off to someone else while the noise happens.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we kind of covered it, Pete. I don't know if we got to go through any more of the stuff. We think it's a good idea if it's possible for it to happen. Once again, Cal backs it up. So yeah, I mean, let's rock with it. Right, Cal?
DC has no plan. Actually, DC has a plan. Warner Brothers has no plan.
So, if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spinnerack.
Out.
Gotta stop.